Namaskara. Let's begin with a question. Why are some individuals naturally extroverted and expressive while others tend to be quieter and more reserved? What are the underlying natural influences that shape a person's behavior and personality? How do these influences operate, and is there any controlling force which is hidden, we can't see, or a mechanism behind them? Does it not look like some hidden force is pulling us from behind, making it hard to make progress? We often find ourselves in a situation where we ask ourselves, I want to do so much in my life, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, but I'm unable. Looks like something is dragging me. And this very question was asked by Arjuna to Krishna in these words. अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छानपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः. So Arjuna addressed Krishna as descendant of Vrishni, and he asked his question, by what one is impelled to do sinful acts unwillingly and sometimes as if engaged by force. So this question is very important because a living entity is part of a supreme. So is originally spiritual, pure and free from all material contaminations, as explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, by nature he is not subject to any kind of sinful activities, and he has nothing to do with the sins of this material world. But when he is in the contact with the material nature, he acts in many sinful ways without hesitations, and sometimes even against his will. So sometimes he doesn't want to do, but he looks like he is forced to do. As such, Arjuna's question to Krishna is very genuine, and it also goes on to say that the nature of living entities is very different when they are in material world. Although the living entity sometimes doesn't want to act in sin, he is still forced to act. Sinful actions are not, however, impelled by the super soul within or the Paramatma within, but they are due to another cause, and this is what we are going to analyze in today's video. So this is explained by Krishna to Arjuna, and this is what we are going to put forward. Krishna said to Arjuna, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhava, Mahashano Mahapatma Vaidyayenam Iha Vairinam. The Supreme Person Krishna said to Arjuna, it is lost only Arjuna which is born of contact with material mode of passion, that is Rajoguna, and later transformed into extreme anger, and which is all destroying, sinful, and it is an enemy of the world. So this Rajoguna is hidden enemy, and we need to be very careful of this enemy. So let's understand what is the nature of this enemy. So in Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter, Krishna explains Arjuna about the three modes of natures, one of which is Rajoguna. So let's understand these three modes first to understand how this force is acting. So Krishna says to Arjuna, describing the first mode of nature, which is Satoguna. So Krishna says, Sattvam Rajas Tama iti Guna Prakriti Sambhava Nibandhanti Mahabaho Tehe Dehinam Avyayam. So there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these three modes. And Krishna explains all these three modes in Bhagavad Gita in 3 verses. So let's understand them in the words of Krishna himself. So first he explains about Sattva. So about Sattva or Satoguna, he says, Tatra Sattva Nirmalatvat Prakashakam Anamayam Sukha Sangena Bandhanti Jnana Sangena Chanaka. So the Sattva Guna is, O sinless Arjuna, the mode of goodness is being purer than others, and it is illuminating and free from all kind of sinful reactions, or rather makes a person free from all kind of sinful reactions. Those situated in the mode of goodness become conditioned by the sense of happiness and knowledge. Jnana sangena nibandhanti. So they become tied with the ropes of knowledge. A man in the mode of goodness is not so much affected by material desires, and he has sense of advancement in material knowledge. Therefore, there is a fundamental challenge that arises when an individual is predominantly in mode of Satoguna. So this is also very important to understand that this although it is happiness and everything is good, what is the problem with Satoguna? So the problem is this mode of existence leads them to believe that they possess superior knowledge and are better than others. Therefore, the conditioning is to their mindset, so thereby conditioning their mindset. Notable examples of this phenomenon can be observed in the realms of science and philosophy. Scientists and philosophers tend to take pride in their discoveries, their knowledge, and their continuous pursuit of material progress, and this often brings them to a situation where they have sense of earthly contentment. They are satisfied with what they have, and this sense of heightened happiness within the constraints of material world binds them to the mode of goodness. So this is also one kind of rope. So if you understand, these are different kind of ropes. One is gold chain, one is silver, and one is made of iron maybe. Consequently, they are inclined to engage in the activities in this mode as long as the inclination persists. This is about Sattva. As long as the inclination persists, they will continue to take on the bodies influenced by different modes of nature. So, because as per Bhagavad Gita, we always keep changing bodies. So, the person in Sattva will get the bodies according to their nature. And this is to perpetuate the cycle of birth and death, and this cyclic existence offers no opportunity for the liberation or a transition to spiritual realm. Thus, individuals may repeatedly find themselves assuming the roles of philosophers, scientists, poets, but they remain entangled in the same cycle of birth and death, and they kind of become tied. So the prospect of liberty or a journey to the spiritual world or spiritual realm becomes very difficult and very distant for them, and they actually find themselves tied in the same cycle of birth and death again and again. So that's the problem with Sattva. Now next, Krishna explains about Rajoguna. About Rajoguna, Krishna says, Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trushna sangne samudbhavam Tanya bandhanti kaunteya karma sangyena dehinam. So, the mode of passion or Rajoguna is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. Because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. The person in Rajoguna puts himself in a situation where he does a lot of hard work and he puts a lot of effort, much more than needed to live a happy life. A person heavily influenced by Rajoguna will do anything. He feels like his desires are never fulfilled, and he always keeps desiring for temporary things, and also he keeps striving for more and more and more and more things, and as he gets them, he also gets never-ending dissatisfaction. And for Tamoguna, Krishna says, Tamasva ajnana jamviddi mohanam sarva dehinam pramadalasya nidrabhir tanni bandhanti bhatata. So the Tamoguna is exactly opposite of Sattoguna. So Krishna says, O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the delusion of all the embodied living entities, and this results, so this mode results into madness, indolence and sleep, and mostly not doing anything, which binds the conditioned soul in the mode of ignorance. And this is just the opposite of the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, the development of knowledge is important. So one is in knowledge, but it is exactly opposite. So in the mode of ignorance, one is without knowledge. So he is doing things whatever he likes, but he don't know what to like and what not to like. So he is always in trouble, and he always keeps giving others trouble. So the person in mode of ignorance becomes mad, and he acts like a madman. He cannot understand what is good, what is bad, and instead of making advancement, one becomes degraded. So these modes aren't abstract concepts, they profoundly influence our lives. So they are not mere talks or mere philosophical facts. They also affect our lives greatly. Three forces acts in combination always. So they do not act separately, like one person Sattoguna, one person Rajoguna, one Tamoguna. No, not like that. So it is like mixing of the three primary pigments of color to get different shades of colors. So Krishna explains it in this way: Rajas tamas cha vibhutya sattvam bhavati bharata, rajah sattvam tamasyaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. So he says, sometimes the mode of goodness becomes predominant, defeating the other modes of nature, and sometimes passion and ignorance becomes predominant. O son of Bharata, sometimes passion defeats the goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeat the goodness and passion. So one mode is predominant and other two are subdominant to that. So there is always a competition for supremacy, and the prominence of some certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealing with his activities in eating, sleeping, or working, etc. And we will explain this in our upcoming video in detail. So anything you do is it has a very great influence from the mode of nature in which you are doing things. So if one wants, he can develop the mode of goodness by practice and defeat the modes of ignorance and passion. So what it will do is it will bring the person or raise the person to the goodness, and one can develop a great personality, a great things of achievement, and also he can be satisfied and he can be happy. Also, there is one more important thing of developing the mode of goodness, and that is if one is determined, he can remain predominantly in the mode of goodness. And this will not only make his life easy and vision clear, but also it will open the doors of spiritual advancement, which is easy for those in the mode of goodness. So hopefully this make the understanding clear. We will bring more on this topic. We have not covered everything. We will bring eating and other things about this topic. So stay tuned with us, and bye.